I want to tell you a little story about my career. And I actually don't even remember too many of the facts of this case, but what I remember about this one is the feeling of what happened. When I started my career as a young little lawyer with lots of collagen, I thought that my job was to help my client win. And partly because of my legal training, in an adversarial model where it's win-lose, partly because of my training, partly because my mom's from Bombay and has negotiated in the streets of Bombay and could negotiate someone's pants off. I went into law armed with really good negotiation skills. I was a pretty good negotiator. One might even say negotiating when you're doing a win-lose can be a little manipulative. You don't think you're manipulating, but you kind of are. And I remember in a case where my client was the recipient of spousal support, my very early days, it kind of felt like at the end when we finished the negotiation, I'm bearing my soul here, guys. It felt like we won. It felt like I got her a slightly better deal than what would have been. And I thought I was a great lawyer for doing that. In my ridiculous naivety, I thought that that's what I was supposed to do. And I know that a lot of people who enter the legal process think that that's what their lawyer is supposed to do. But what I didn't foresee and what changed me as a human being forever was that it created more of a mess after. And I was totally child focused. It was all about mom and the kids, my client and the kids. Get her as much money as you can. My desire to get a better deal for my client, to create a win-lose, to ever think that one person was out of the equation. What I didn't realize that I know now is I created more problems by taking that approach for that family. And everything we do that hurts the other in any circumstance and story you could ever give me is going to create more strife for your child. Because guess what? They're the only ones in between. They will always be in between. What I realized when the phone calls didn't stop and the anger just escalated. Now I had a client whose ex-husband was really pissed because he knew somewhere that he got hosed, is what he felt, probably. It changed how I approached every single negotiation going forward. It was the best lesson I could ever learn as a young lawyer, and I will never forget it. And it was this feeling of, oh my God, if it's not good for the all, it's not good for anyone. Because it didn't just make the kids' life worse by the parents having escalated arguments and resentment, it also made it worse for my client. And so what I want to position to you is that the win-win is when everybody wins. A win-win, and there are no exceptions to this in my book. And of course, we have to protect children, and there's mental health, and there's all kinds of scenarios. But ultimately, the highest good of all is what it means to have a win-win.